So it's been 2 weeks since TSB updated, since Tatsumaki got her last ultimate move, since all that happened, and honestly, I personally haven't been thirsting for an update, but everyone else has, so I guess the owner thought it would be a great idea to temporarily quench everyone's thirst by doing some polls and teasing some stuff for the future, and I think we might be getting a little bit carried away here. Like a lot, like really a lot. The big question everyone has had ever since Tatsumaki came out was, what's the next character going to be? What are they going to do after adding a character as popular as Tatsumaki? And then the other question was, when are you adding Boros? Boros when? Everyone won't shut up about Boros. Boros is going to be this game's peak. But anyways, there were some polls made in the Discord server, discord.gg/yieldingarts if you're not in there already. I don't know if you should join it to talk there because the people there aren't the brightest, I'd say. But hey, you should join for the announcements and polls and update logs and stuff like that. That is helpful. Oh yeah, and the sneak peeks too. So this month there's been quite a few. First, it started with most OP character. We basically have confirmation as to when Boros is coming. And this is concrete confirmation, no BS. This is the real stuff here. So we go to polls, and the last poll that came out on the 23rd of May was next characters before Boros. Suryu, Zombie Man, and Child Emperor. These are our three options. But if you read carefully, it says next characters with an S. So this means that the next characters are going to come in this order. The order that they've been voted for. So Suryu will come first, Child Emperor will come second, and Zombie Man will come third. And all of these characters are going to come out in that order before Boros comes out. Because if that wasn't the case, then it would just say next character before Boros. There is no argument against this. This is factual. This is basic grammar. And for the non-English speakers, Boros is not coming for a long time. This has 124,000 votes, and I think that's plenty. But this poll might not be accurate. And let me show you why. If you go to the sub-announcements channel, these three images were posted. So we got a picture of Suryu, a picture of Child Emperor, and a picture of Zombie Man. Under it are reactions. And Flowers, the owner, posted multiple pictures and GIFs showing off the character. Pretty cool. So we got Suryu, Child Emperor. So Child Emperor has his own super mecha suit that's like super broken and overpowered. Although he was getting bodied by Phoenix Man. Zombie Man firing off a huge blast, breaking his arms in the process, but his regeneration kicks in. Zombie Man and Child Emperor have so much potential as characters for this game. These would be incredibly cool characters. But if you look at the upvotes, if you look at the reactions, we have 6,000 for Suryu, 5,000 for Child Emperor, and 11,000 for Zombie Man. And then under this, don't forget, this is a community poll, so whatever comes first, don't blame me. And this, again, confirms that these three are the next characters before Boros. What it also confirms is that this is the accurate poll, and the one in polls is not. So what do I want? A lot of people were asking me what I voted for, and it's hard because I don't want Suryu. But in the end, now that I know all three of them are confirmed to be in the game before Boros, as the next three characters after Tatsumaki, I don't care that much. They can arrive in whatever order they want, but it doesn't matter to me because they're all going to arrive at some point. And we know that the TSB devs are just that good at their jobs that they'd be able to make a pebble have a good moveset. A pebble. This microscopic piece of dirt right here. They could make the most fire moveset for this thing, and it would be universally accepted as something cool. I guess I can now say that it's either Suryu or Zombie Man as the next character. Probably Zombie Man, based off of everybody's reaction to this. Because everybody was very vocal against Suryu coming first. Very vocal about it. And everyone wants Zombie Man. I'll say that. Everyone wants Zombie Man. And he's pretty cool, so I don't mind. Now this one. This is the one I was most concerned about. Adjust slow M1s to have the same speed as the strongest heroes. 78% voted yes, and 22% voted no. And that's with 50,000 votes. You may or may not remember that the strongest heroes M1s used to be the default for every character. Even Genos, even Garo, all of those characters all used the strongest heroes M1s at some point. And That was changed. They all got their own M1 animations with different speeds and abilities, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with any of them. They all have their unique aspects that make them more interesting to use. And then this poll comes out asking if this should be changed to make all of the M1s the same speed as the strongest heroes, which I just don't understand. At first I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because, you know, M1 trading isn't consistent. Like, you whip out Metal Bat and you try to M1 trade someone, and then it just fails because it's too slow. And yeah, that sucks. But people have adapted to this. They've learned how to play Metal Bat in a different way that doesn't involve always M1 trading. You do know, this may sound crazy, but you're not supposed to play the same way all the time. Because if you do, then people will adapt to that. And then are you just supposed to keep playing the same way while you know you're gonna lose? No. So you change the way you play. And this is what everyone did with Metal Bat. They started playing in different ways that didn't involve M1 trading and getting up close all the time. And it worked out. There are Metal Bats out there that give you a real challenge. I've been destroyed by countless Metal Bats that are completely broken. They're ridiculously good. And their slow M1s helped them. Because I'm used to like close combat, close quarters combat, M1 trading, all that. I wasn't ready. I'm still not ready for most Metal Bats. I have to quickly switch up my style and remember how I played against them. And I have to remember how I play against people with slow M1s. And it takes me a few fights to really get into it, and then I can start beating them again. And that's called adapting. But for some reason, everyone else can't do this. If this is being considered for a future update, please just don't. Every single part of a character goes towards its uniqueness, and the difference in M1s is a huge part. It's so big. You may not notice it, but something as simple as M1 speed is kinda massive. You can't just go from destroying everyone with Saitama to destroying everyone with Metal Bat. You have to do a shift over to that character. It's a playstyle shift. It's different. The combos are different, the M1s are different. Everything about Metal Bat is different than Saitama. 100%. And if all the M1 speeds are the same, the only thing different about the characters would be the attacks, which means the combos would be different. Making all of the M1s the same speed would make all of the characters feel more stale. Over time, you'd notice it, but not immediately. At first, you'd be like, I could finally M1 trade with people and not have to change my playstyle to actually fight people properly with Metal Bat. Wow, that's so awesome. And then it starts to get bland because you're like, oh, I wonder if old Metal Bat would have been cooler. Like, this is kind of boring. I wish my M1s were a little bit different. Like, maybe the old M1s would have been a little bit of fun right now. That's when the regret settles in, and you begin to hate yourself for voting on that poll. You will come to appreciate the differences between the characters in future time. Trust me. So this is what everybody thinks the most OP character in the game is currently. And naturally, 54% of them voted for Tatsumaki because they have no idea how to fight it and it's a new character and all that. So you can basically disregard Tatsumaki as an option. 78,000 votes. Saitama got 20% of the votes. Now that is understandable based on how people talk about him, but Garo being above Genos? I thought I've talked about this enough to get the point across that Garo is not nearly as good as Genos. It's not even close. Garo is a close-range character with no offensive ranged attacks, only a defensive one. Its versatility is okay, but it's not close to Genos at all. Genos is the most versatile character in the game, there's no question about it. With Garo, you can hit people normally, you can hit people on the ground, and counter people. That's it. With Genos, you can avoid almost every single move in the game with a jet dive, like this. You can like side dash, turn around, and then your jet dive will take you like across the map. You've this. Garo does not have that. And then people are going to be like, oh, well, you can counter that. No, you can't. You can't counter a blast that hits the ground before it hits you. If you try to do that, then you're just going to waste your counter and take the full damage anyways. Genos has a two-part move that can be used to do extra damage or just run away. Look at this distance that I made from the player in 1 second. And Genos is also good at catching people with Blitz Shot and Jet Dive. Like that. No other character has range like that besides Tatsumaki, and her moves aren't as versatile as Genos's. They're not as fast, they're not as accurate, and they're not as controllable. Genos has literally everything you would want in a character. Close range ability, long range ability, versatility for running and catching people, strong combos, strong damage. I can't think of a weakness for Genos besides the idle time when you're using some of your attacks, like Blitz Shot. Maybe someone could like counter that if they try. Maybe. Like, look at Blitz Shot. Look at how fast you can do. That is the type of move you don't react to. It's the type of move you predict. I have so much to say about Genos and absolutely nothing to say about Garo. I just don't understand. I've made like 2 or 3 videos explaining why Genos is the best character in the game, and people still don't get the memo here. If someone tells you that Garo is better than Genos, you can just disregard every single one of their opinions that they ever make in the future, because it's just not true. It isn't. And yes, for those of you who are saying, oh, well, characters are all the same, it just depends on the skill level of the player. That's almost true. I personally think that a 1v1 is 90% skill, and then 10% of it is contributed to by your character. So yes, your skill matters the most by far, but there are characters that are better than others. This is factual information that you can't deny. Or you're just coping with something, I don't know. Genos is better than every other character because he is the most versatile, and the rest are just not as versatile as he is. It's as simple as that. I haven't even mentioned Genos' abilities for other things other than 1v1s like kill farming and stuff like that. It's not even funny. Like, Genos' base moveset alone, it's so ridiculous. Like, you don't even need your ultimate, because you can just run from most ultimates using Blitz Shot, because they can't react to stuff like that. Unless I have a lag spike, of course, like that. Say you're being chased, just... like, the chance that they react to that is so low, and they're probably gonna waste their ragdoll. And then what you can do after is just turn with your jet dive, and then they have their ragdoll wasted, and you can still run. And then you're waiting for your cooldowns to get off. Maybe you could, like, go back up to them, juke them, and then hit them with the ignition burst. Like, there's so much you can do with Genos. There's so many different possibilities. I could rant on and on about this. It just pains me to see that people think that Garo, of all characters, is better than Genos. It's not true. Garo isn't bad. He's just not the best character. There are other characters that are a lot better than him, and characters in this game being a lot better than another isn't as huge of a gap as you think, except when it comes to Genos, because Garo versus Genos is, like, kind of unfair. But,